Opening in 1986, Midway Mall is a 606,494 square foot indoor shopping center sitting upon 59 acres in Sherman, Texas. Located approximately 70 miles northeast of downtown Dallas, it is still the only enclosed mall in the Texoma area, comprised of Sherman and Denison Texas, plus Durant, Oklahoma. Midway has not had a single update since it was built, making it a time capsule to decades past. Take a walk with us around this vintage mall while we talk about its history and what's in store for its future. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon to get new video updates. Just a quick note. We want to express our sincerest and heartfelt thanks to all of the people going out every day amidst the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic and putting their own health and safety at risk in order to help others. From the first responders, the nurses, the doctors, the fast food workers, and like my husband, the engineers and technicians that are keeping things running behind the scenes. Thank you. Your selflessness is appreciated more than you may be told on a regular basis and more than you may ever know. God bless your beautiful faces. Stay safe.
All personnel report to the nearest tornado shelter.
Hey there. Let's talk about some past weather. For this video, we traveled 86 miles, or about 1.5 hours away from our home base. Granted, in Texas, that's nothing. But once we got out of the city, we ended up encountering some bad weather, which actually has a totally different meaning when you compare outside of the DFW Metroplex versus inside of it. Driving through Dallas, the weather was clear, but oh boy, as soon as we cleared the area, it started to rain, and lo and behold, we ended up catching some video of a tornado. See what I mean about the area just outside of the DFW Metroplex? It's adventure weather. I won't climb on my weather nerd soapbox for this video, but you should check out the blog for some fun weather facts. You can use them to impress all the people you aren't really supposed to be hanging out with during the self-isolation. I won't tell. And because a good storm makes me nostalgic for my childhood, as a kid I got to watch some pretty epic storms while spending time on my grandmother's farm. I wanted to show my little Texas twister before we got started on Midway. A dying mall whose whole aesthetic is all about nostalgia. Sometimes the metaphors just come naturally. The puns too, apparently.
The new owners of Midway Mall invite you to participate with over 50 stores who are presently part of our landscape. With thousands of repeat customers weekly, we're now offering from 1 to 3 months free rent to credit-worthy renters. Midway Mall has a space to accommodate any need at steep discount prices. Come and take advantage of our free Wi-Fi services. For more information or to lease space at the Midway Mall, call 903-345-5422 or check us out online at midwaymalltexas.com. Midway Mall, 4800 Texoma Parkway in Sherman. We're here to stay.
As we drove around the mall, we noticed that several of the outside entrances into the mall had signs saying something like, "We know you think this is a door, but nope, not a door. Do you even know what a door looks like? Better luck getting inside next time." Disclaimer, the signs don't actually say that, but I wish they did. However, I always try to park at a Dillard's, no matter what mall I visit. That way, I always know where I parked. Plus, it seems like Dillard's manages to be in every mall. Thriving or dying, there Dillard's be. So how do you know when a mall is about to kick the bucket? Dillard's converts to a Dillard's clearance. Did that feel like a setup for a joke to anyone else? My husband and 4-year-old daughter came along. Since it was raining, they decided to book it inside out of the rain, taking their free hands with them. So it took me a while longer to load up and head in. I should have followed their lead and just made a run for it. I'm not one of those people that starts screaming when they get rained on. I did not make a run for it. Instead, I thought, hey, look, you need one more thing to carry. It's a 30-second walk in the rain, and then you get to carry that umbrella around for 2 hours. Sounds logical to me. Whoa, 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 though. What are you doing? Put that dinky little umbrella down. It's so small and compact. You want to impress Midway. Yeah, grab that extra large IKEA golf umbrella instead. Here is a slightly smaller version of the umbrella I decided to use on my 30-second walk. But as luck would have it, a very nice gentleman held the door open, and then held it, and then held it a little bit longer. The battle raged on for what felt like at least 5 minutes, but it was probably less than a minute. Eventually, though, I got that umbrella schooled, and polite Peter, not his real name, got to go back to his life. Remember earlier, like 2 minutes ago, when I said that I always park at Dillard's when I go to the mall? Of all the Dillards I've been to because of that, I highly recommend walking through this one if you decide to visit Midway. It was the nicest Dillard's I have ever been in. No joke. It was clean, bright, and felt brand new. I want to go back just to visit it again. But for as bright as Dillard's is, the stark contrast once you walk through the doors into the mall itself is surreal. Do you remember that scene from The Wizard of Oz where Dorothy, still rocking the sepia tone, opens the front door of her house right into the Technicolor Munchkinland?
It felt just like that, only in reverse. And here it was, our first true taste of Midway Mall. I've seen other videos of walkthroughs, so I figured I knew what's up. Nope, it was something else in person.
Walking down the first darkened corridor, there were some spooky broken rides circa the 1980s. You know, back when everything was designed to be creepy. My theory on that is because companies thought it was hilarious to terrify children, and possibly they read a study one time about how traumatic experiences help to create memories. Don't believe me? Then you never went to Chuck E. Cheese or Showbiz Pizza in the 80s or early 90s. Making our way towards the food court, the distinct smell of bathroom cleaner hits you like a punch in the face. It is sudden and overwhelming. Not necessarily a bad smell, but it is pungent and immediately recognizable as a public restroom. Speaking of the restrooms, though, they too are a time capsule. Wondrously outdated, worn out, but clean. Isn't that the thing we strive to see when forced to use a public restroom? Just be clean. Sure, it wasn't Buc-ee's or even QT, but third place is still a winner. Walking into the food court, you can see some of the empty food stands. None of them are currently occupied by an open business. A few even have trash and debris left behind that no one has bothered to clean up. That was sad to see. But the iconic circus tent ceilings in this area are even more impressive in person, even with the repairs done with duct tape and some dangerous looking wires hanging down from the middle. also houses the theater, which really looks like it's just closed up for the day, but it is in fact closed permanently. You can see stacked up posters and paperwork in the box office, but the outside movie poster frames are all empty, and the lights surrounding them are gone or burned out. Across from the theater is a store filled with extra signage and a bunch of whatnot. Its gate was closed and locked, but you can see some of the junk inside. It kind of reminded me of the junk drawer in my kitchen. If I happened to have 600,000 square foot building, my junk drawer would probably be an entire room as well.
Oh, wait, it was here that I found Midway's conduct policy. I might have to stand corrected about these. This one is so much better than Ridgemar's. I'm especially fond of number 3. Walking back through the former food court area, there is a giant mural on the wall advertising the local newspaper. Due to some perfectly placed random stains, the man featured on the mural made me immediately think Gorbachev. I mean, obviously, right? Okay, the stain isn't in the exact right place. And yes, the mural guy looks like he might have some Bell's palsy. And alright, fine, it's not actually Gorbachev. But I bet they are cousins at least. Good old Sherman, Texas. In fact, one of Midway's lesser-known advertising campaigns included the slogan, "In Midway Mall, the store shop you." Then I'm sure the Chamber of Commerce, asked them to include a shout out to the town of Sherman. It was probably like, don't forget to visit the rest of Sherman, which is definitely not a communist town full of Russian spies. We are best friends now. Tell me all your secrets, especially the ones about military bases and stuff. Okay, yes, I made that up. We all know there is no room for subtlety in communism. Moscow, Texas is where all the Russian spies hang out. Obviously. Since we're going to be sauntering through another empty corridor, it seems like a good time to talk about some of the demographics for Sherman and the surrounding Texoma area that at one time fed into Midway Mall. The Sherman-Denison Metropolitan Statistical Area, as defined by the United States Census Bureau, is an area consisting of one county, Grayson, in North Texas, anchored by the cities of Sherman and Denison. As of the 2010 census, the MSA had a population of 120,877 people. That is the Sherman-Denison Metropolitan Statistical Area. It is a component of the Dallas-Fort Worth Combined Statistical Area. It is also a major part of the Texoma region, with a proximity to both Lake Texoma and the Red River. The racial makeup of the county is 87% white, 7% Hispanic or Latino, 6% Black or African American, 1.3% Native American, 0.6% Asian, 0.05% Pacific Islander, 3% from other races, and 2% from 2 or more races. The average family size is 3 people. The median yearly income for a household is $37,000, while the median income for a family is $45,000. About 8% of families and 11% of the population are below the poverty line. Males have a median income of $33,000 versus $23,000 for females. Do you get the same old-fashioned bouffant vibe I do? Like jobs paying anything more than minimum wage and could actually provide a livable wage are a total boys club? If a woman somehow infiltrates it, they are talked down to and, realistically, are probably only there to answer phones anyway. It's how I imagine the show Mad Men plays out, only I could be totally wrong because I've never watched the show Mad Men. Okay, let's say it's like Anchorman. That one I have seen. Some local attractions, besides, of course, Midway Mall, is Lake Texoma, the birthplace and now museum of Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States, and on the Oklahoma side, there is the Choctaw Casino and Resort. Digging our way out of that rabbit hole, we have come upon the Expo Hall, a 29,000 square foot space just sitting here waiting for you to rent it out. I know I talked some trash about renting out space in a mall for a party, but I wouldn't totally hate attending an event or shindig at this Expo Hall. Let me clarify why, though, before I'm labeled a hypocrite. Midway's Expo Hall is not claiming to be some super fun kid's birthday wonderland. In fact, it really doesn't advertise itself to be anything close to that. It leaves itself open for a variety of events, and indeed, it seems to have a pretty good event resume. These include job fairs, most recently one that was centered on helping veterans find jobs, the Jurassic Tour, which we attended in Dallas a few years ago, and earlier this year, the Great Texoma Gun and Knife Show was held there. So you see, it's totally different. While I'm not super familiar with this area, I don't imagine there are a ton of venues to host large crowds for events like these. Job fair at a casino seems in poor taste, as would a kid-centric dinosaur show, or even the gun knife show for that matter. Therefore, I give this expo hall a lot more leeway. Also, I did not see any ridiculous rules posted online, and in fact, they clearly stated that they provide tables and chairs as part of the rental, and the room will be clean. I mean, what? If I knew more than 7 people, I would totally have a party there. Okay, moving right along. Nope, you're not imagining it. We have not encountered another open business since the Dillards. We are coming up to a more inhabited part of the mall. Well, inhabited-ish. I always try to support local businesses when I can, and we especially like to put money into the locally owned businesses inside malls like Midway. So with that, my husband, who had walked ahead and made friends with a business owner, volunteered me for an eyebrow threading and pore cleaning. Thanks? Just a quick review on this. It was my first time having my eyebrows threaded, and it was bizarre and a little painful, but I strangely enjoyed it. The pore cleaning was incredibly satisfying, though. I love gross stuff like that. The art of threading gets my stamp of approval. Plus, the owners were lovely people, wonderfully sweet and helpful. I would visit again. Purchases were made, face was all fresh, time to move on. There are a few more businesses open down the next area. One kiosk, which was closed this day, and the other a store called Mishmash. Talking with the owner, who happened to be there that day, we learned this was his 3rd location. Very cool people, and if you are local, I suggest checking them out. The Midway location is the largest and has the most variety. Up ahead is another larger kids' play area. It is definitely less terrifying than the one earlier. One of the quirky things about Midway is the layout. Corridors that seem to defy a logical path and double back on each other. I've seen it described as figure 8s, and that's a great way to describe it. Only they are doubled up and go off in weird directions. Looking at a directory layout, it doesn't seem like it would be all that confusing, but once you're in here, it's easy to see how some people could get lost. Another fun thing is that the amazing layout helps to create a weird sound tunnel. You can hear noises from another section of the mall, but can't tell where it's coming from. It is creepy at times, and I'm sure the emptiness of the mall only compounds that. One example was when the security guard, / mall manager, as he claimed to be, was patrolling around on a golf cart. The tires on this thing were seriously jacked up, so every time he turned, it made this god-awful squeaking noise. It was terrifying the first couple of times I heard it, but couldn't see where or what was making the sound. There have been reports that the mall is haunted. Check out this video.
Welcome to K10 News at 10. I'm Meredith Saldana.
And I'm Tom Crespo. Well, the owner of a store at Midway Mall in Sherman says something strange happened inside her store this weekend that has her and her staff looking for answers. Well, the owner says some of her employees think they have a ghost in the store. K10's Jayla Gray joins us now live in the newsroom with more. Jayla?
Tom, the footage you're about to see might spook you a bit, but the store owner and the employees say they can't find any logical explanations for what was caught on surveillance footage after the store closed Saturday night. Early Sunday morning, Rhonda Cole says she got a strange call from two of her employees at her store, Jack's, at Midway Mall.
To hear I don't know how to explain it, the scaredness in their voice was they were really freaked out about it.
Oh yeah, all day Sunday we would just try to make explanations for it, all day, but yeah, it creeped us out.
Ashley Hammond says when she opened the store, she came in to find several blankets off the shelf in the floor. Not sure what to think, she decided to check out this surveillance video. This footage shows one blanket pop off the shelf at 9:36 p.m. Then at 10:19 p.m., two more blankets fall off the shelf.
I'm thinking, there's a logical reason for these to fall off. But when we shake the blankets, we rattle the shelves, we push the shelves up and down, trying to make them fall, and they won't. Yeah, it's a little creepy then.
Rhonda says they have considered every logical possibility to explain it. She says even if the air from the vents was strong enough, they aren't working on that side of the store. But what if it was from the earthquakes that happened over the weekend? Well, we asked her that too. She says if that were the case, the large pictures on the top shelf should have fallen. And she even showed us how they violently shook the shelves to see if they could knock the blankets off. It didn't work.
I thought there had to be a logical explanation for it, so I came over and watched it, and I was like, whoa, it's pretty creepy.
It's definitely something eccentric that just, blankets don't just pop off the shelf.
Oh, nope. Nope.
And then
Oh my gosh,
I
what
know.
is that? What
it
is
moves
that?
a little bit.
Whatever you choose to believe, it's clear that everyone we showed the footage to around Midway Mall is a little spooked. The owner says at this point she's not sure just what to believe, but she says she plans to keep an open mind and continue to try to find out exactly what happened inside her store. We'll keep you posted. Live in the newsroom, Jayla Gray, K10 News.
Can't think of a logical explanation? Come on, it was rats. I'd bet anything it was rats. Or they have a raccoon problem. Maybe Sherman is the Pawnee of Texas. Because the mall was gearing up to close, I guess Security Steve was making his rounds. Nothing deters closing time shenanigans and hooligans that are up to no good, like the screams of janky tires and an old dude talking on his phone as he cruises around the mall. Still better than the Segway, though.
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. In West Philadelphia, born and raised, on the playground is where I spend most of my days. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool and all, shooting some b-ball outside of the school. When a couple of guys who were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight and my mom got scared and said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air." I whistled for a cab, and when it came near, the license plate said fresh and it had dice in the mirror. If anything, I could say that this cab was rare, but I thought, man, forget it. Yo, home's the Bel Air. I pulled up to the house about 7 or 8, and I yelled to the cabbie, "Yo, home, smell you later." Looked at my kingdom, I was finally there to sit on my throne as the Prince of Bel Air.
The next corridor houses the only other anchor, Burlington Coat Factory. As soon as I turned and began walking down, the sharp smell of jalapenos and bright yellow cheese knocked me back and made me a little hungry too. The only place I could find that would have served nachos was the Jumpin' Land, an inflatable bounce castle birthday party place. They were not open, so the smell of cheap nachos has just become a part of this hallway now. And then I came to the Burlington Coat Factory. Yep, here we are. And that's kind of it really. At least as far as open stores go. But there's a lot more to Midway. I'll get to that in a minute. And this is where the security guard / mall manager, or Security Steve, stopped me to ask about why I was filming. He seemed pretty cool about it and explained that a few months prior, someone else had been in the mall filming, and then the mall was broken into. I'm not sure what they broke in for, since there's not much to steal except lawn furniture and giant plants. Possibly they vandalized some stuff. Maybe those creepy broken rides? He did not elaborate, and I did not ask. I offered to let him see some of what I had filmed at the mall or at another location in case he was curious, but he just looked at me like I was crazy and said he already knew what the mall looked like. Smart ass, Security Steve, then took off. If you do decide to visit Midway Mall, I suggest you bring your own beverage or be prepared to shell out $3.25 in one of the vending machines. Nope, you didn't hear that incorrectly or have a mini stroke and imagine I said it. $3.25 for a 20-ounce pop. That's highway robbery. As we trek back through the mall, let's learn about some of Midway's history and newsworthy moments. The site of Midway was originally a standalone Sears, with the rest of the mall being built around it in 1986. The Sears then moved into a new but smaller location, and JCPenney moved from the Sherman Mall, taking over the original Sears. The only other modifications to the mall since its opening was an additional store that housed a Goodies clothing. Originally designed to have a second floor, with escalators located in the areas with the tents, it's rumored that because of this, the roof was not designed to be permanent, but even when the second floor was not added, the temporary roof was not replaced. Subsequently, in the 90s, part of the roof caved in and flooded several businesses, including the Gap, Old Navy, Chick-fil-A, Dinard's, and a few other stores. In November 2014, there was hope from the mall management that things were turning around. The theater had been added, they had obtained a liquor license, and they were selling beer in the theater. A new business was set to move in, Next Level Sports, an indoor batting facility and game room. They were even pre-selling memberships. I couldn't find any more information about their time in Midway Mall or if they even opened. There is no evidence of that remaining. However, Next Level Sports now shows their current location as Bertram, Texas, some 249 miles and 4 hours away. Around this time, Midway was also in negotiations with a call center that would have employed about 200 people. This never opened. In August of 2016, multiple offers were presented to Midway's owners and Royal Property Management. However, they couldn't come to an agreement to sell the property. The management company stated they were more focused on growth for the mall. At that time, they had plans for a bowling alley to be added. This plan never saw fruition. 2017 saw some bad press for the mall. In January, someone stole a motorized wheelchair from one of the shop owners. In February, a man who was charged in a 1998 shooting at the mall was finally booked into the Grayson County Jail. It all started as a teenage fight between kids from Sherman and Denison, followed by a gunshot, and then an attempted murder charge. According to the district attorney, there was a lot of gang violence in the area at the time, especially between Sherman versus Denison teens. After the shooting, the suspect skipped town and headed to California, where he hid out until being arrested for robbery and discharging a firearm into a house. Once his time was served in California, he was extradited back to Texas to stand trial for attempted murder. deadly conduct with a firearm, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Also, in June of 2017, Sears announced it would be closing, and by September, it was gone. September of 2018, things looked somewhat better, and Mishmash moved from a seasonal kiosk into a 7,000 square foot store open year-round. The owner stated Midway Mall was a tremendous benefit to his store's success. However, by March of 2019, an annual 10-day carnival that for 20 years had set up in Midway's parking lot was turned away when they arrived from Missouri. The carnival manager was told by mall management that the mall owner was claiming Dillard's wouldn't allow carnivals in their parking lot. So even though the carnival had already spent thousands of dollars on permits and traveling to the site, they were sent away. Okay, hold up. So for 20 some odd years, Dillard's was cool with this carnival. Then all of a sudden, they can shut down the whole thing with one nope? Methinks not. There's a lot of empty parking lot at Midway that is on the opposite side of the building even. This excuse is illogical, so I'm calling bullshit. A 10-day event that drives traffic to the mall sure sounds like a good thing to me. Could the death of Midway be an inside job? There seems to be some sabotage going on. Or at least some really bad decisions made by some complacent people. In the end, the carnival manager said they would try to find another Sherman location for future years, but it isn't clear if they were able to do that. Thanks, coronavirus. In December of 2019, there was more bad press after an 18-year-old woman was shot in the head in the mall's parking lot. Yep. A fight broke out after midnight between some guys. Someone involved got into their car and began shooting out of the window as they drove away. She was hit in the head by one of the bullets, but luckily, she made a full recovery with no lasting damage. You know, my dad always said that nothing good is going on after midnight. And when I was 18, I thought that was total bunk. But now as an adult with my fully developed brain, yep, he's right. Speaking of crime in the area, while still higher than 75% of the U.S. cities, there has been a decrease in violent crime and in property crime over the past 5 years. Go Sherman. So one might argue that Midway is already dead. The small number of open businesses, Midway has only a 20% occupancy. And based on its current configuration, it can house 80 businesses, more if some of the larger spaces were split up. However, there are approximately 15 open at this time. I'll be honest, there's something incredibly charming about Midway. It doesn't seem to take itself too seriously, unlike our visit to Ridgemar. Midway fully embraces its weirdness, and I can respect that. From the bizarre layout, the lack of renovations, and lack of repairs, they are 100% unapologetic, and nope, they will not be sugarcoating it for you either. That kind of made me fall in love with this mall. While researching for this video, I saw a lot of people speculating about when Midway will close its doors for good. Comments dating back to 2009 talked about the final nail in the coffin for Midway, and yet it remains open. Like an old man with dementia, it's just chugging along, oblivious to what's going on around it. The lack of updates may be charming, and one of the reasons I developed a quick fondness for the place. But this is not a well-maintained vintage. This is neglect. I think the eventual cause and actual death of Midway will come when there is no other choice because it has become dangerous or the damage is too extensive. I don't think anything short of that will close it up forever.
make a trip to Midway to check it out too. I'm going to call it now. Next year, we will have our 1-year YouTube anniversary meetup at Midway. Consider this your save the date. Fingers crossed.
It's gonna take a long time!